Boo, and welcome to the Halloween special. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for Halloween. There's a lot of horror games out there that I think are truly amazing, but most of them are already well recognized for how amazing they are. And while there's some of them I feel like never got the praise they deserved, it would be kind of too different from what I'm used to do. Not that I'm not gonna do anything different, it's just that I like to keep things lighthearted. Oh, and of course, talking about lighthearted, I'm gonna have one jump scare at some point in this video and I'm not gonna tell you when it's coming. Have fun! After trying for hours to make Clock Tower work on Windows 10, I gave up and tried the SNES version. But for some reason, some effects were completely screwed up. So, Code Fear it is. I used to have this game on PS2 and I just couldn't get it to work. It always froze right at the beginning, so this is my first time actually playing it. Oh, and to get this out of the way, yes, it looks a lot like Resident Evil 4, and it's always gonna be compared to Resident Evil 4. But it's more like Resident Evil 1, mixed with 4. Don't worry, I'll explain. The game starts with some guys dropping into a boat, and after they are killed, you and your team are sent there to... I don't know, look at the boat. And your team is instantly killed. So now you're in a Russian boat by yourself. There's also this jump scare that makes no sense in a story sense, but I'll just act like it didn't happen. The graphics look fine for a 2005 game, and considering Resident Evil 4 came out only 2 months before, I think it actually looks pretty good when comparing the two. The rain effect looks pretty nice, and having the boat moving at all times almost forces you to see the lighting effects. Which aren't the best, but they tried. There are things that look off even for the time, like some blood splatter that never moves. So they could have made it into a texture instead of just throwing another one on top of it. Sadly, because of the setting of the game, there's not a lot they can do though. The whole game takes place in a boat and an oil rig, so you can expect to see the same looking rooms over and over again throughout the game. Actually, you can expect to see the same rooms throughout the game since you go back and forth so many times. About 80% of the game takes place on the boat, where the game asks you to get something, then go back to the beginning to use it, and then go forward to get something just to tell you that you need to go back for another thing. I didn't notice this as much as I was playing, but looking back at it now, there's a lot of backtracking. Something weirdly funny that happens in this game is that you have to go back to save a girl who's stuck in a room, and by the end of the game, the people on the radio are making fun of you. And right after, they drop this.
With this data, we can make sure this never happens again. But what about Anna? Head to the security room. It's a good place to start looking for those notes, and you might be able to spot your girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend. Oh, that's right, Hanson. You get your girlfriend shot, not eaten by monsters.
And by the way, the game is about 4 hours long with no time skips that I can think of. And by the middle of the game, your character is just as in love with her as I am with your mom.
You need to help me destroy this place.
No, I need to find your father's note. Once I do that...
You die!
Probably. You'll be safe, Anna. That's what counts. Goodbye.
Now, like I was saying at the beginning, the controls are something in between Resident Evil 4 and 1 at the same time. You get those fixed camera angles you used to see in older Resident Evil games, but you can also press the right mouse button and it's gonna turn into Resident Evil 4 with the over-the-shoulder camera. And you can also press shift to aim like in old Resident Evil games, but I don't think I used this a single time and even forgot it was an option. You have your life bar and a resistance one, which is used for running, and if you're out of resistance outside, you might fall off the boat. It's an interesting idea, but you barely spend any time outside, so they might as well just call it a stamina bar. The game also tries to make a big deal about the ammo, giving you notes and saying it's important that you don't waste ammo, check corpses for them, but not too much so you can save it for later and blah blah blah. But look at the starter pistol in this game. I can count on one hand the number of times I ran out of ammo in this game, and still I always had ammo for the other guns. I actually forced myself to use the other guns just for the sake of showing in the video, because really there's no reason to change to any other gun besides when you're fighting these mini bosses. And I don't mean it like, oh, I'm great at this game, but as in, I suck at survival horror games and I still managed to get through this game in 4 hours. I'm trying not to be too harsh on this game because the over-the-shoulder thing was completely new, and even Resident Evil had some problems with it. After you radio the girl's father because he has answers for what's going on, you go around the ship to turn it around and go to the oil rig where supposedly he is. You crash into the oil rig, Anna falls into the water, and you'll go after her. But apparently your character passed out before saving her, so you just wake up on the oil rig. Then after an hour of gameplay, Anna appears on the water and her dad saves her. It's so confusing, but he then takes her inside. She wakes up after an hour floating on the water and instantly passes out before getting attacked. Yeah, I don't know. Really, you can expect some old Resident Evil type of dialogue in this game. It seems like no one in this game has a functioning brain, and yet they're in this operation somehow.
Those things just infected Anna. Don't do anything stupid, Hanson. There's nothing you can do. There's an antidote. I can still save her. An antidote? Fine. If you think you've got a shot, go for it.
Sadly, I don't think there's any music in this game that I consider memorable. It's just another case of I played through the entire game without even noticing the music was there, which is at least better than having ear-screeching music in the background. And that goes for the entire audio department in this game. Besides the extremely cringy dialogue, you don't really notice anything about it. All I can say is that it's fine. Now, I think there's a big problem with the story here. Maybe I missed something, but I watched the cutscenes again and found nothing. But basically, you get infected twice in this game. And the second time is right after Anna is infected. There's even a cutscene with Tom giving the only cure to her.
I'm sorry, Anna. So this is it, Tom. 2 patients, 1 cure.
And the problem is, you go around putting C4 on the oil rig and running away from the explosion. And after that, you find Anna at the top of the oil rig, where she's placing the last few bombs. Her mutated dad shows up and you have to keep shooting him while she does her job. After that, you two get into the helicopter and fly away. But what about Tom being infected? I don't know. Just look at this.
Take care of this.
Papa, I'm sorry.
Goodbye, Papa.
This is one of the biggest plot holes I've ever seen. I hope there's an explanation that I missed or something, because wow. But yeah, sadly, Cold Fear wasn't exactly scary as I was expecting. It has 2 rooms in the entire game where it's dark and the rest is just more like an action game. I believe that it might have gotten a reception that was a little bit better if it didn't come out right after Resident Evil 4, which definitely leaves this game in the dust. If you're a big fan of survival horror games and have nothing else to play, I'd recommend this one. I was never bored of it. I was always waiting to see what was gonna happen next. For the wrong reasons, but still. But anyway, I hope you liked this one. And if you did, make sure you leave a like. And oh, let me know in the comments. Have you played this game before? Did you find it any good? How's your Halloween going so far? And oh, thank you for the new members. Unlucky, Voss Feia, Walber, Mr. Self, Torik, Pulvish. Becoming a member really helps me a lot, so thank you. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.